Yeah, you should be at 8 probably. I should be at 7. But anyway.
Or 2.
I don't have a clapper.
Oh, no clapper?
It's fine.
I didn't bring
Obi-Wan, take 1.
So get
This is going to break. It's supposed to be 1. Welcome back to HM and Big E Review Things. Today, the finale of the Obi-Wan series has aired, and we have all watched it, and here is our thoughts on Obi-Wan, the series as a whole. Gentlemen, Obi-Wan, it's finished now. What do you think? Oh boy.
Rob, do you want to start or do you want to start?
Let's not all rush too much positivity all at once, guys. All right?
Why don't you start?
Let me start.
And then Rob's going to
Sure,
respond.
maybe starting with the most positive is probably best.
Okay.
I thought it was a mixed bag.
A mixed bag.
A mixed bag. I don't know if there's a picture of a mixed bag. I think there are some good ideas. I think of all of the Star Wars media that have come out to explain things, this is one of the better ones. In terms of explaining that gap of Obi-Wan didn't know that Anakin was Vader and Anakin was still alive. That's potentially rich stuff to mine. And that stuff, when they did that interaction between the two of them was pretty good. Then there was a lot of other stuff which wasn't so good. Overall, I think a mixed bag.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. I mean, the highlight, I guess, for me would be Ewan McGregor. I think he always does a good job as an actor, no matter what he does, and he channels Obi-Wan pretty well. I think he gets the voice back, the Alec Guinness voice, and that's primarily what I liked about Obi-Wan. Try to remember the other things that I liked. Rob?
Well, it's good that they used finally some of John Williams' familiar songs and tunes in the final episode.
Why didn't they do that earlier?
I don't know. It's
like sound and music is such an important part of like memory.
That's
right. They say you're the sense most associated with memory is your smell, and then I think it's sound afterwards. Like it's more so than visual and that kind of stuff. But yeah, the music that alone made this episode so much better.
Yes, but continuing overall, I think for me, and I was sharing with Homing earlier, that this was something that I didn't ask for, but now that I got it, I don't think I really need it. That's how I would summarize.
Do you think we needed Rogue One?
That's another discussion.
It's just
okay.
I mean, in hindsight, it was a fan service film.
It did have some connection to Rogue One in my mind. They kind of had some of the same beats where they're trying to link things that I'm not necessarily sure fans want or care about. Some of it is better left unsaid. Some of the mystery behind it is fine. It had a little bit of even the Han Solo thing. Not as egregious as Han Solo being named Han Solo, but some of the things, like I felt the series generally, when I first saw Luke, I knew that obviously it's about Luke, but then they kind of said, no, it's going to be about Leia.
Subversion of expectations.
That's right. And I felt, do I really need to know all the background of these characters? And I just felt like that I would have rather them do a story about Obi-Wan as an older man, and he goes on an adventure to do something else, and it reveals more about his backstory.
I think it could have still had that link between him and Vader. That's
right, but it didn't have to be so overt.
Right.
And I don't think Leia and Luke needed to be part of it. They could have maybe at the very last episode. He sees him from a distance, and that's enough, right? It could have just been an Obi-Wan versus Vader conflict, but they added Luke, they added Leia, Owen Lars, Baru, and a host of new
Grand
characters.
Inquisitor.
The Grand Inquisitor.
The other Inquisitors.
Right.
Yeah, Organa.
They added a ton of people in this, and it was like Obi-Wan and Friends, if you want to say it that way, okay? I think that was more the show.
There was a Reddit comment that said that, in a little while, there's going to be a fan edit where it's going to be a 2-hour movie, and it'll be really good. Right? They'll cut it down to 2 hours. They'll add back all the original music, and it'll be really good. But yeah, there was a lot of this extra stuff that kind of got in the way of the story, for sure. I think that the story that they were even trying to tell. Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll officially go into spoilers now. I mean, it's hard to avoid that now. The series is over. If you haven't watched it yet, do watch it before watching the rest of this video. Or if you don't care, hear what we have to say. Good, and I'm guessing more bad. But we're in spoilers, gentlemen. What do you want to say?
All right. Well, I guess I'll go first. I think
there's how many pages do you have?
Yes.
I think we should just primarily focus on the final episode, because really the first 4 episodes or 5 episodes leading up to the final episode, I mean, I feel like there's a lot you could have cut. I think there was a lot of characters that, like, we were talking about earlier, didn't need to be in there. Mm-hmm. But again, I want to focus on the final episode. And one of the things I really did enjoy was a lot of the callbacks. Now, remember the scene where the Star Destroyer was chasing the cruiser, and they had that music, which was from Empire Strikes Back.
They did a redub of it. They kind of changed a little bit
when the snow speeder, the introduction of the snow speeders, and when the Falcon was trying to escape Bespin. Mm-hmm. That was very familiar.
I see.
Right?
Yes. It also reminded me, when they were chasing the escape shuttle, of The Last Jedi. Like, how is an Imperial Star Destroyer...
I did not like that scene.
Not catching up and destroying this tiny little transport freighter.
If you watch that, it's I guess it could be a nitpick of the week, but Rob, just before you go on, that whole sequence, like if you watch it again, they're so slow.
They're so slow.
Their aim is so bad. They're not firing at the ship at all. And then if you look inside the ship, everybody's calm.
They're fine. Yeah,
they're calm. They're just talking calmly.
Yeah.
No one's running around trying to fix stuff. They're just like, you see lasers flying in the background, and he's just talking it to Leia as if nothing's happening.
Well, as we're nitpicking, maybe the Star Destroyer had no TIE fighters, because I'm sure they could have just sent some TIE. But you know what? They probably were arriving on Tuesday. Right, so that's probably why Vader left the fleet with no TIE fighters. Anyhow, other things I liked is I really liked how they finally brought the Imperial March.
Finally,
right? That was nice.
Leia's theme.
Leia's theme.
And actually, I've come to like the Obi-Wan theme. I can't hum it right now, but I think if I hear
it's
it, I'll remember. Good, thank you, Rob. Good.
I know it's a play on the actual Star Wars thing.
Right. Yeah.
But for some reason, I always get that mixed up with disco.
Okay. Anyway. Oh yeah. I hear the two notes.
And you know what? I really enjoyed the conversation at the end between Vader / Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Those were some of the highlights.
But that's my point. Like that core interaction between those two characters. Should have been the sole focus of the show. Yeah.
So those are the things I would say.
Spoiler things.
There's a lot of stories in this show.
Yeah.
Like there's almost too many. And if you notice the final episode, a bunch of people are just missing. The other Inquisitors that they spent time, kind of, the fifth brother or whatever, he's gone.
Han. Yeah.
Han from Fast and Furious. Shout out to Han Solo, or...
Well, yeah, that's his name. But what's the actor's name?
Sang...
Excellent. Thank you for watching.
Sang... Kung?
No.
Let's not...
Okay, sorry. Okay. We'll edit that part out.
No, but it's just a lot of stories. And I think that's, to me, mainly that's my point and your point, which is focus on one story and have another B story. But don't have 8 stories kind of concurrently going on, and the ending was diluted because it was a Reva hunting Luke story.
Right.
And who's to believe that Owen Lars could fight off this Jedi? But okay, fine, I
mean, there are various problems with that, even just with like how she got there. Like Bail Organa left a random voicemail with all this secret information. But even then, how did she find Owen Lars and Luke Skywalker and make the connection that Luke is Anakin? Like, there's
no, but has that been established though?
That
Reva knew that the boy had some connection to Vader. I think she knew that
she's just going to slaughter children.
No, I think she knew there was a connection to Obi-Wan because Bail says, if I don't hear from you, I will help.
No, and it says he can't find out about the children. I think, anyway.
No, the message was, actually rewatched it. The message was that, if I don't hear from you, and, I'm going to assume that something's happened to you, or both of you, and I'm going to go meet Owen on Tatooine.
Because he's going to need... Owen. He doesn't say Owen.
Yes, he says Owen, so that he can help him with the boy.
I'm going to insert the clip here to see who was right.
He's found. If he's learned of the children, I'll head to Tatooine. Owen, help the boy.
He does not say Owen.
Owen.
All right, I'd like to see that bet. Okay. Again, I think the show just has way too much stuff going on. Do we need the Reva story? I think the Inquisitors should have just been goons that Vader sends out, and Obi-Wan defeats them, and he has to face Vader. It could have been a very simple story, but instead, they have stories for all these guys. And the Grand Inquisitor, by the way, how did he show up? And then he got killed, and then he's back alive. So
and back to tank.
Okay, back to tank him. I guess is a solution for everything.
Which then, again, why did Vader leave Reva to live? And why did Vader leave Obi-Wan to live?
But Reva was presumed to be dead or dying.
Why?
Because he just stabbed.
Because Vader said that.
Grand Inquisitor Reva just stabbed the Grand Inquisitor, and he's fine.
I guess a lightsaber stabs
no longer fatal.
This big through your stomach is okay.
It's no longer fatal, even though that's what killed Qui-Gon.
Yes.
Who?
Okay, let's go on to that.
Who also makes an appearance, which, I did like. I was waiting for that Qui-Gon scene, but it felt really wasted.
It's so...
it was really wasted.
Totally agree.
I thought that would have been a good opportunity when Obi-Wan was,
yes,
under, in the rocks, holding the... I think that could have been an opportunity for Qui-Gon to just,
show up.
Say something encouraging or inspirational, but
instead, just like Obi-Wan does to Luke in Empire.
Where's he going to fit in those rocks? His face is projected on the rocks.
He kind of pokes through.
Yeah.
Okay, these are logistical issues. But that is a more like an emotional moment where he kind of is at that point where he's hearing all the doubts and all the failures and the stuff that's being repeated to him. That's the point where the master can now reveal and say, no, you can do this.
If I were to say, though, guys, what is this show really about? What would you say, though? What's the arc here?
Yeah, if you look at Obi-Wan, the character...
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Okay, he begins in the desert, watching Luke from afar...
Cutting up sushi.
Kind of being a recluse, and then everything happens, and at the very end... He's a recluse in the desert looking at Luke.
He finds a new home, real estate. Remember, he packs up that scene and he's looking at his what a dump.
Yeah,
and only to find a bigger dump.
No, he has a house in A New Hope.
Okay, I know that he's going through that little crevice and he finds a house, an equal dump to be honest. He's basically.
But that's his arc.
From recluse to recluse.
I feel
no. His arc is letting go of his guilt that it was his fault that Anakin became Vader.
Right.
But then that is why one of the scenes I really did enjoy was that conversation was Vader reaffirmed him that no, you did not kill Anakin. I killed Anakin. Which makes you wonder, for him to say that, why would Vader free Obi-Wan of that guilt?
I was about to say, why would he say that?
Yeah. Was that a piece of Anakin
I think so.
that was speaking?
I think maybe.
At that point, right?
Yeah, I think maybe. Even in Rebels, when he has that showdown with Ahsoka, there is some of Anakin that's still a little bit there.
And is that the reason why Obi-Wan let him live? That, hey, wait, Anakin is probably still there.
I was thinking two things, about Anakin Skywalker, Number one, roping in Hayden Christensen, that they're writing this so that they're going to make use of him as an actor. So they do the throwback, which has... they already have a lot of YouTube of people doing a better job of the de-aging, right? Because he clearly looks like a 40-year-old.
He does.
Right? Not a 19-year-old, right?
19-year-old,
so I knew when they were fighting that his mask is going to be broken, just like in Rebels, because you want to show his face.
Okay with that.
Fine, but that they might not have written that if they were like, let's not cast Hayden Christensen, let's just get Darth Vader, right? But because he's in it, we got to give him some face time, literally. So that's one thing. The other thing is, Obi-Wan, by not killing Vader at that moment when he was weak, just cost the universe billions of lives.
The entire system of Alderaan.
Yes. The person that he was going to save, Bail Organa, he cost everybody. We're talking about billions and billions of lives because he was like, he just walked away. He said,
technically that was Tarkin.
Okay, fine, but let's just group them all together. Anybody on that Death Star is culpable. So, I don't know. It was just like, he was like, okay, I feel bad for you, so I'll just walk away. Don't you think?
No, which is why I think the explanation is he still saw Anakin in there, which is why he did not finish.
I wish they were a lot more explicit about that. Because, again, the two ties that Obi-Wan has in the original trilogy to Darth Vader is when they meet again on the Death Star, Darth Vader, of course, says, the last time we met, you were the master and I was the learner.
Yes.
Now it's the other way around. And then in Jedi, when Luke tries to save Vader, Vader says, Obi-Wan once thought as you do, when he tries to rescue him.
Yeah.
But we actually saw no evidence of that. Like, Obi-Wan didn't try to convince him to turn away from the dark side.
But that's the problem with doing these type of things, is that you're trying to, put everything together, and sometimes it makes sense. You know what scene I thought was going to be funny? I thought he was going to say this line. When Obi-Wan's down in the crowd, I thought he was going to say, "No, I have the high ground." I would have laughed out loud if he said that, but that would have been a funny line. Who has the high ground now?
That probably would have made the show even better.
That would have been a meme for sure, and I'm sure there might be probably some.
And there was a meme at the end when Obi-Wan met Luke, I think for the first time.
Yes.
Right. The hello there.
Oh yeah.
So. But that was definitely fan servicing.
Boo! The T-16. I was so upset in the beginning in our early review that Obi-Wan gives Luke his T-16 Skyhopper toy model. That is the Han Solo. This is how he gets his blaster. This is how he gets his jacket. No.
But he puts it in his bag at the end of this episode and he just leaves it.
No, he brings it when he goes to meet him. He goes to meet him, he has it.
He has it again.
He give it to him again
after being rejected.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel that I don't need the show to completely follow everything in canon. We kind of talked about this when we were talking about Strange New Worlds, that if you're telling a good enough self-contained story, you don't really have to. But this is not really a self-contained story. They're actively trying to pull in threads left and right, prequels and sequels and the original, to try to kind of tie it all together to get you hooked. And then so when you do that, but you're doing it selectively, it's kind of odd, right? Like, you're bringing in Leia, to try to establish that. But that ruins a lot of, Leia never mentions this, and I guess it's okay, but it's just a lot of those things end up piling up, right?
It piles up. I think right from the get-go was the wrong direction to rope in the Skywalkers once again, because they really love Darth Vader because he sells a lot of merchandise, because he's iconic, right? But it's like they think like the whole Star Wars universe hinges on this guy. He's like space Jesus. As someone once put it. It's just like, what? But why is he always in these shows? He's not that important. He's just a goon, basically.
No, but between the two of them, between these two guys,
no,
it is important. Their relationship is important as master and student, and they fought. You were my brother. And
Fine.
They fought, and then now there's some emotional beats. Before next time they meet, he kills or he sacrifices himself. There is something to mind there. I agree. Luke, Leia, Owen, Beru, Bail, cut them all. Cut them all. Yeah. And even Inquisitors, cut them all. The Inquisitors was just, they were a concept that came up in Rebels, and then we explored them a little bit in Fallen Order, the video game.
I thought if you're going to put Inquisitor in, all you got to do, they're just goons. They're just lightsaber fights to warm him up for Vader, right? That's it. Keep him that way, but unfortunately, everybody's got a backstory. Riva's got the tragic backstory, and then she can't do.
It's a lot of setup for potential future spin-off shows. Yeah. I think the Inquisitors, in and of themselves, could have been a show, like a separate show, right?
Separate show,
like the Bad Batch.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. And I didn't finish watching that, but that could be an intriguing thing, right? That the Empire is just starting. Vader is sending these Jedi hunters out to hunt and kill the remaining Jedi. That's an interesting show. And then, fine, throw in the backstory there. This is weird that it doesn't belong here.
It does not need to have Luke and Leia. If it should have been just the Inquisitors hunting the Jedi, and they're getting close to Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan has to kind of make his way.
He has to leave a bit.
Yeah, leave a bit to another planet, so they throw the scent off Luke. Right? That's it. At the end, he sees Luke from a distance, he's happy with his job, and he's still kind of protective. That's it. Right.
So now that we're on the Inquisitors, so what was Reva's motivation?
When?
To go to Tatooine and kill a boy.
But that's what I think. I think it was something to do with Vader. I think she connected based on the video clip that I will insert, and even if it's not, I'll edit it so that I am right. That I guess she makes a connection that has something to do with Vader, and so she wants to harm Vader because of the trauma she suffered as a youngling. it's, I was thinking that, sometimes in shows we complain that they spell everything out a bit too much.
Yes.
And they explain too many things.
Yes.
This is the opposite of that. You have explained far too little. You're expecting people to make a lot of these logical jumps. Wait, what? And then for it to kind of even make sense, there's got to be a balance, guys. This is way, way off. Yeah, because why was she attempting to chase down and kill Luke? How did she find out where he was? How did she survive the stab wound?
And why is it that looking at Luke make her realize that, I don't want to be like Anakin killing children? Because I'm pretty sure she's killed many innocent people.
Yes.
As an Inquisitor.
Right.
What is it about this boy that made her see otherwise?
Could have been her experience with Vader recently, but I agree with you. It does seem that as an Inquisitor, potentially for a while, this is a character that is hard to redeem. She's done, probably, you would assume, fairly terrible things, including killing many Jedi, and it's implied that they're capturing and kidnapping all sorts of children and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you that again, that's another one of those logical leaps that, wait, how did we get here? Why is she changing her mind? But you have to make a few jumps to get there. I understand the moment they were trying to go for.
But going back, okay, so, see, my issue is likability, right? When you look at Reva and compare her to, say, Darth Maul, both evil characters, but I think we can all agree that Darth Maul is one of the most beloved villains in Star Wars, right? Is there a general census there? Do you think Darth Maul is generally, a character that most Star Wars fans like?
He's very iconic, and he did something new with the double wielded lightsaber, and his look was cool. So
from the prequels alone, I don't think he's he was beloved just because he was iconic. Yeah.
But then they
brought him back.
They developed him a lot in Rebels and stuff. So
and he showed up in Solo.
Okay.
And he was in Clone Wars.
Okay. We get.
And he had a brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to say is, now that we have Reva, is Reva going to reach that same level of fan?
She's not supposed to be a villain.
Is she not a villain?
I don't think she's going to be.
She's going to be a good.
I think she's
going to be part of the Rebel Alliance.
I'm guessing.
Remember she puts on her lightsaber at the end?
Yes. How many lightsabers are buried in the sands of Tatooine?
Oh, many.
Right.
And it's the only place that Vader decides not to look for Obi-Wan.
It's so terrible. I saw an interview with Hayden Christensen. Someone point blank asked him, would it make sense that, everybody's on Tatooine? And he had to make some answer up. He was like, well, I think Vader wouldn't look for him here because he was traumatized.
Yeah.
Right? So, but it's one of those things where, again, another show is set in Tatooine.
I know. They need to stop.
They need to stop.
They need to stop. Between Mandalorian,
Boba Fett,
and this is it. We should have a 30-year pause on Tatooine. We can never visit Tatooine for another 30 years. Okay?
I don't know. The scene that I kind of liked was when, again, Ewan McGregor, his acting chops, is talking to Leia and explains to her who her father and mother were.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that was a beautiful scene. But that could have been the extent of their interaction. You didn't need a whole 4 or 5 episodes where she's hiding her under the cloak and they make cute little jokes.
I think that moment would have been less impactful if there wasn't build-up. I agree it was probably too much build-up. I agree Leia was definitely in it too much. But that impact would have been less if it was just one episode, introduce her, and then you have that.
Yeah, so, Leia should have been captured just once instead of
once
twice.
And then returned. And they should have returned her after the second episode.
Why did they capture her in the first place?
To get to Obi-Wan. Reva set it all up to get to Obi-Wan.
And then she set it up
Reva
again.
knows so much?
The Force. When in doubt in Star Wars, the Force did it.
They said that the Force could allow for premonition.
Yes.
I think they should have just introduced Leia as a cute little girl at the very end episode, and he bends down, he tells her, and he realized...
That's what they did with Luke, though.
He didn't talk to Luke.
He did. He did at the end. Hello there.
All right. I don't know, man.
Well, let's wait for the fan edit and see how this could be improved.
Yeah, I definitely could have seen this as a movie. If you cut it down, take out a lot of the stuff. The kidnapping is just the one quick thing. Take out most of the Inquisitors or keep them just as quick goons. Have 1-2 interactions with them. Maybe even the first interaction with Vader is kind of like a Force thing. And then you get that final one on whatever planet it was. Which, again, if we're going with loopholes, So Vader came down on a Lambda shuttle from a Star Destroyer orbiting the planet. Okay, and then they landed, and then Obi-Wan leaves in his shuttle, and he's able to fly away. And the ship, the Star Destroyer has, doesn't stop them.
And they have a hyperspeed drive in that ship.
Which is fine. X-Wings have hyperdrives in them, and they can achieve light speed as well.
Why couldn't they use that drive to get the rest of the people away?
Because the motivator was bad in the big transport.
Just then grab the motivator from the...
I don't think they're...
Ice Cube couldn't fix it, okay?
Okay, well the point is, so they couldn't put the small
they couldn't. The
hyperdrive of the small ship into the big ship, and of course there were no TIE fighters.
Yeah.
Because remember, in every Star Wars, there's always a TIE fighter chasing the Millennium Falcon.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. True Star Wars nerds would be able to tell you how many squadrons of TIE fighters are in a standard Imperial Star Destroyer, let alone Vader's Star Destroyer. But apparently, they're all on maintenance or something. I don't know. There isn't too much more to say here. This whole series, I feel, could have been much better.
Okay.
When I agree. When it first was announced, I was like, why? And then kind of when they started exploring, again, when that reveal of Obi-Wan, he's alive. And you could tell, again, Ewan McGregor is doing so much heavy lifting with acting. And that, these emotions of, realization that he survived and he's the person causing all these problems and he's Vader. And going through that and exploring that could have been really good. Should have been better. Yeah. I don't know. Anything else to add, gentlemen?
Well, I mean, I did some research.
Of course.
And this show was written by 5 different writers.
Okay.
Right. So you can definitely see a lot of ideas being thrown into each episode. But it was directed by Deborah Chow, which I think she did the best she can. I mean, she's done some really good Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah, I think the direction was fine.
So
she's fine. Yeah.
But it's just that,
I mean, I think visuals in general were fine, except for the de-aging on Hayden. I don't know why they didn't do it. Yeah, Marvel and Disney have clearly shown they have this technology that they've used very, very well, but they chose not to use it. I wonder if Hayden just said, no, don't do that.
But then another thing we need to look at, and you know what, I am going to be a little more forgiving when we give our ratings. Keep in mind, this is supposed to be a TV show.
Yes.
Right? And in a way, you're getting A-list characters and actors in a TV show. I equated it to kind of like getting Tony Stark and having him show up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Right. So, the writing is, not top notch, but, you're getting these characters. So are we judging it too hard? Should there be a different standard? Should there be a different standard between, judging a movie versus judging a TV show? Or is this a hybrid where it's a limited series, right? Because
that line is definitely a little bit blurred now.
So we should take that into consideration.
Good point.
When giving our grade.
Good point. Okay. Anything else, Wayne? All right. Final grades, gentlemen. Final grades. Let's start from the bottom up. Rob, what's your final grade of Obi-Wan Kenobi as a series?
This might surprise you, but I'm going to give this a B-.
Okay.
Right? I thought that it had some good moments.
Yeah.
Definitely there were issues, but if you look at it for what it is, like a TV show with A-list, A-tier characters, I mean, it's okay. I mean, we can nitpick it as much as we want, but again, you gave B- to Ambulance. It's watchable, right? But the thing is, I will say this is something I thought was okay, but I probably won't rewatch it again.
Yeah.
B-. Homie, what's your grade for Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I'll have to give it a C+. It's watchable. It's passable. There's some good moments, but overall the story was going all over the place, and Ewan McGregor, could probably bump it to a B- or B, because he's such a good actor, but he can't carry this thing alone. I mean, this is just so. I mean, again, the main direction, focus. I don't think it should have been the Skywalkers yet again.
There were a couple episodes watching this. I was very bored. I was just watching it. I was like, oh, this is all. I was checking my watch. I was trying. And there are good things, and we're actually in reverse order. I'm going to give it a C.
Okay.
I thought and honestly use the music more. If they had used the Imperial March every time Vader showed up, if they had used Leia's theme more, if they had used Luke's theme more, the Force theme, this would have easily been a B+. Or B. Let's say a B. Music is really important in terms of like kind of getting you engaged with it and kind of hooking you in. So I'm not. That's not the reason why it's getting a C. But just I feel there was so much superfluous other stuff. I was so bored by most of it. I think the core nugget of the idea, the core concept that probably gave birth to the series is a good one.
Sure.
I just feel that they didn't do it very well. They added a lot of extra stuff. It's a C, gentlemen, so we went reverse order here from what I expected. Let us know if you've seen Obi-Wan, the series. Let us know what you think. Chat with us in the comments about what we thought. And until next episode, keep watching different things.
And please do subscribe to our channel. We appreciate it so much. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Rob.